giving an opportunity to Somalilanders to contribute as well, given that clearly this is a very important topic for the people of Somaliland. And it's important that the voice of 6.7 million people is not lost in discussions like this. You know, we've earlier heard Abdullahi presenting the Somalia point of view. I think Dr. Mashanga did a great job for presenting the sort of Pan-Africanist view from our friends in Uganda, and then we've heard some good analysis just now from Wole as well. Look, I think what people often don't realize about Somaliland is there is so much misinformation and disinformation that is being pushed from Somalia and people sort of who are pushing Somalia's agenda, which are in fact very far removed from the facts. So, for example, referring to Somaliland as secessionist or breakaway region, or talking about the integrity of African Union borders based on independence. First of all, Somaliland is a country that became independent before Somalia. Somalia is a neighboring country. It is a younger country than Somaliland. So in fact, Somaliland has its own post-colonial African borders upon which it gained independence on the 26th of June 1960, while neighboring Somalia was still an Italian colony. So we are not here talking about a breakaway region. We are not talking about Biafra or Cameroon or some of the other examples that were given. When the African Union in 2005 sent a fact-finding mission, they said that the Somaliland case is historically unique in African political history, and is self-justified from its legal position. Why? Number one, Somaliland meets that condition that African Union borders should remain unchanged. In fact, it is Somalia which wishes to change African Union borders based on independence by seeking to annex, occupy, and claim Somaliland, a country that is older, a country that was independent before Somalia, a country that was recognized by 35 countries, including all members of the UN Security Council. In fact, Somaliland became eligible to have a UN seat and an AU seat while Somalia was still an Italian colony. It is sad that our neighbors in Somalia are seeking to occupy Somaliland's seat on the UN and the AU. So, number one, I think the facts have to be told, the truth has to be told. Somaliland is neither breakaway nor a secessionist region. It is a country like any other African country with its own borders. It has a treaty of independence. It has treaties based on colonial era treaties that define its borders. It has demarcated borders. This is essentially Somalia trying to occupy and claim Somaliland. Secondly, there is the misinformation that international recognition of Somaliland, is somehow the same thing as the existence of Somaliland. International law makes clear that the existence of a state is completely independent from recognition. Because otherwise, any country could say, we do not recognize that country. For example, Uganda could say, we do not recognize Kenya, and then occupy it, annex it, and incorporate it. Russia could say, we do not recognize Ukraine, and it could invade it and occupy it and annex it. And for that same reason, Somalia has for a long time been saying, we do not recognize Somaliland, so they can occupy it, claim it, and annex it. To prevent that misuse and that abuse of international law, the United Nations came up with what's called the Montevideo Convention on the Duties and Rights of State. It is the premier international law that defines what makes a country and what does not make it a country. And Article 3 of the Montevideo Convention explicitly states, Kennedy, that the recognition of a country, the existence of a country does not depend on recognition by other countries. Even before recognition, a country has the right to exercise its power, to exercise its rights, to protect its civilian population, its borders, its interests, and to enter into agreements with other countries. So even before recognition, Somaliland, under international law, has the right to enter into an agreement with Ethiopia if it so wishes, and Somalia absolutely has no right to interfere on that basis. The third point that I want to make, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak, as I said, because the space has been going for almost an hour and a half, and I think I'm the first Somalilander to speak, so hopefully you will allow me a little bit of liberty. The third point that I want to make is Somalia is a failed state. And I'm not saying that to be harsh or to speak down on Somalia. It is just the objective reality. It is the truth. So when people who want to discredit Somaliland, 6.7 million people's right to statehood, right to exist, right to citizenship, right to the most fundamental basic human rights that every other country enjoys, that Kenyans like yourself enjoy, Kennedy, that Ugandans like Dr. Matsanga enjoy, which is to be part of a country that is internationally recognized, to be able to travel, to be able to trade with the world, to be able to have interactions with the world. Actually, they push this agenda that says recognizing Somaliland would somehow destabilize the Horn of Africa. First of all, the Horn of Africa is not known particularly for being stable. In fact, the only place, maybe two places that are known for being stable in the Horn of Africa is Kenya and Somaliland. You know, we see what's going on in Sudan, in South Sudan, in Eritrea, even Ethiopia more recently, and of course Somalia, which for 33 years has been a failed state. So it defies logic. It goes
So
against.
what do you mean affects? What is your narration about failed state? What do you mean?
So the definition of a failed state is a territory that cannot govern itself, like Somalia, that relies, for example,
Is it
on.
is it not governing itself?
It is not. Somalia has no effective
What do you
functioning.
mean? As
If
a
you allow me
president,
to,
it
explain,
has.
I'll answer.
Hold on. You see, if we make such kind of remarks, we have to justify, because
Sure.
this is a country, has a president, has structures, all aspects of running a government. So what do you mean by failed state? I don't want, of course, I don't want you to tell me the definition of it, but I just want you to tell me what you mean by that assertion.
No, absolutely. So you are right. Somalia, theoretically, it has a government, it has a state, it has a legislature, etc., and so on. But in reality, the territory that we call Somalia, which is about 400,000 kilometers squared, does the government of Somalia have territorial control? No, it doesn't. Does the government of Somalia provide the most basic services in terms of security, police, military? No, it doesn't. Does the government of Somalia even represent its people, for example, through elections, direct or otherwise? No, it doesn't. Somalia has not held elections since 1967. The people do not elect parliamentarians, they do not elect the government that represents them. Somalia does not have a functioning judiciary, for example. It has no trade deals that it has entered into any countries in any meaningful way. So effectively, Somalia exists on paper,
No,
but no, hold on, Kennedy. Let
that's
me
not
just
right.
land. Let me land this point. It has on
I
paper.
want you to learn.
It has on paper.
I want you to learn. Hold on. And you know it that what you are saying is not correct, right?
So let me
Keep
ask
tonight.
you a
What you are
question,
saying, you
Kennedy.
know it's not
Why does
correct.
Somalia
So if
need?
hold on,
Mm,
hold on,
mm.
hold on. Why I saying this is hammering out, or it has deals that just on paper. What do you mean? Yeah, we've seen Somalia's president all over in a number of African countries, um, getting deals done, attending high-profile meetings where the rest of the world is. As we talk today, Somalia has a seat at the UN Security Council, right? Non-permanent seat, right?
Okay, may I proceed?
If I'm not wrong.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a fair challenge. It's a
And
fair challenge.
and 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 in these instances, where you come from, there's no representation at all. So if you say it's a failed state, then you must justify, because to me, it's about the idea that we have no political or economic system or structures that can anchor country. Somalia has all these things. So you know what you're saying is not right. But that's why I've always said, when we come here, let's have a conversation. But we should not have a conversation that is dishonest. Proceed, Dr. Ned.
Thank you, Kennedy. I mean, any objective person who looks at Somalia, looks at the headlines, looks at what it's known for. If we are being truthful with ourselves and we are really speaking truth as it is, then I think people can reach their own conclusions. I just want to answer your questions about Somalia's attending all these organizations and these meetings and so on. That may well be the case, but 60% of the land territory is controlled by Al Shabaab, a terrorist group internationally known, right? Somalia did not have a recognized government. I mean, you talk about Somaliland's not recognized. Somalia itself did not have a recognized government between 1991 and 2015. So for the past 30 years, I mean, for maybe 20, 25 years, Somalia and Somaliland both did not have a recognized government and did not have seats on the UN and did not have seats on the AU. And even until very recently, although Somalia does have a seat on the UN, they were not allowed to vote because they could not pay the membership fees. So, these are membership organizations to which people can apply. And I think that's important to point out. So thank you so much. I think the facts have to be said as they are, but I will give others a chance.
Yeah, facts are facts.